he has enough money, resources, technology. I mean, I've always used Google. Everyone uses Google. Who doesn't play Angry Birds sometimes? We have to catch up to them. So hello, everyone. This is Anthony Marsico. Welcome to Banxe's weekly podcast. Obviously, we will discuss news surrounding crypto, Web3 companies, maybe some movies. I don't know. We'll see what we cover today. So let's jump right in. First, we have Trump earned up to $1 million from NFT sales. Trump's income from NFTs comes via a licensing agreement between his company, CIC Digital LLC, and collections creator NFT Inc. LLC. So it looks like Trump he's been in the headlines a lot lately for other reasons than making money off NFTs, but it looks like he clearly invested some money in NFT and he made up to, it says on this article, anywhere from $100,000 to $1 million from a Trump branded NFT. I'm sure there's people out there, that would love a NFT owned or created by Trump. So I don't know, maybe he paid off some people with this money. Who knows? So the next article we have is the UK's new technology department to tackle the country's Metaverse Web3 strategy. The UK's newly formed Department of Science, Innovation and Technology will advance the country's Metaverse and Web3 strategy. An individual familiar with the matter not authorized to speak publicly told CoinDesk. The country's 2023 spring budget, released in March, said the government wanted to lead on the future of web technology, sometimes known as Web3 or the Metaverse. Clearly, we're seeing countries around the world right now kind of taking it into their own hands to be the hub of new innovation, new technologies, and I think they're seeing other people doing it and saying, hey, we have to catch up to them. So just for them talking about it is probably a good idea. So the UK is there. They're obviously forming a new department within their government to tackle these issues such as the Metaverse, Web3, things like that. So it's good they're talking about it. They see it's obviously going to be in the future and they want to build around that. Next, we have the U.S. House Committee publishes a draft stablecoin bill. The U.S. House Financial Services Committee published a draft version of a potential landmark stablecoin bill, with proposals including a moratorium on stablecoins backed by other cryptocurrencies and a request to study a central bank digital currency, also known as CBDCs. Again, whenever we have, stablecoins or the Metaverse or Web3 being talked about by high officials in the government, that's obviously a good thing, especially when it comes to stablecoins. There's been obviously some fallout with some banks that have ties to other stablecoins like USDC. Circle owns them. So this is obviously good that they're kind of proposing a bill for them to study these, see the benefits, maybe the negatives to these as well. But it's good they're going in that direction. I think they've been putting the blinders on too long here, and they need to take a step back and see there actually is some worthiness to having these stablecoins in the world and potentially in the US. So we'll see what happens with the US House Committee publishing their draft on stablecoin bills. Next, we have Google may lose search on Samsung devices to Microsoft. Microsoft Corp's Bing may replace Alphabet Inc.'s Google as a default search device on Samsung electronics devices, according to a New York Times report on Sunday. Samsung, the world's leading smartphone maker, is considering making the switch, putting at risk roughly $3 billion in annual revenue for Google, the report said. Bing's threat to Google's search dominance has grown more credible in recent months with the adoption of OpenAI technologies to provide chatgpt-like responses to user queries. I've always used Google. Everyone uses Google. I have Google all around my house. I'm always asking Google what to do, but someone else is obviously going to catch up here. And I think Google's kind of been number one for so long that maybe it is time for someone else to take over, or at least compete, because competition makes obviously things better. You can't have a monopoly, especially in this space. So obviously it would be bad for Google to lose that revenue, but I think it's better for us as consumers that they're competing now with different devices, different AI technologies to better our search technology. So we'll see where that goes from here. Next, we have SEGA offers to buy Angry Birds creator Rovio Entertainment. So I used to love SEGA, and obviously, who doesn't play Angry Birds sometimes? So this is pretty cool to see. The video game maker SEGA is offering to buy Angry Birds for about $776 million US. We see this a lot. You have big players like SEGA buying kind of medium players like Angry Birds. So this is kind of cool to see, and maybe they'll bring something different there, but I guess we'll check out what happens here with the Angry Birds takeover. So I feel like we can't go a week without talking about Elon Musk. So our next report is Elon Musk is reportedly planning an AI startup to compete with OpenAI, which he has co-founded. So obviously CEO Elon Musk is planning to launch an artificial intelligence startup that would go head to head with OpenAI, the Financial Times reported on Friday. This is kind of a no-brainer here, I think, that he has enough money, resources, technology, the brain power to go this way. And again, like I previously said, that competition, I think, makes things better. You have Microsoft and Google competing. Here you'd have Elon Musk, who created Tesla and SpaceX and Twitter, or he didn't create Twitter, but the CEO of it now. It'd be nice to see him start something up because, again, he's a pretty smart dude, and I think he knows what he's doing. Let's see where it goes from there. Macron's, he is the Prime Minister of France, unpopular plan to raise pension age is signed into law as nationwide protests rage on. I think we previously talked about this, that there's a bunch of protests going on in France, everywhere in France, basically. Wherever you go, airport, Nice, Paris, wherever you go, there's going to be a crazy amount of protests going on nationwide. So apparently they are increasing the retirement age for most workers from 62 to 64. So, I mean, I don't think anyone would be happy about that, obviously, because you try to work until you're 62 and then get a pension, but you have to work 2 extra years. So I see why there's an outcry for this, and we will see where this leads us. And also, we have more news on Twitter. More newsrooms bail on Twitter as Musk meddles with account labels. After Musk labeled NPR and others as state-affiliated media, a label previously reserved for state propaganda accounts like the Kremlin-backed Russia Today and China's, I can't say that word, NPR and PBS have stopped tweeting. After backlash to NPR's new label, Twitter shifted to a newly made-up designation, government-funded media. I actually saw this too because I follow NPR on my Instagram page, and I saw some posts they had about how they're not using Twitter anymore, and I was kind of confused. I didn't really read into it much, but this kind of makes sense where Musk is labeling these far right, if you want to say, media groups such as NPR, that they're state affiliated media. It's kind of going probably against what they want and want to hear that they're doing. So they're just pushing back, I guess. I mean, they do have a lot of people that are listening to them, a lot of people that read their stuff. So we'll see how that plays out as well. So that is it today. Thank you for listening to us. As always, like us on YouTube, please go to Banxe.com for all of your financial needs. You can have a business account, individual account, crypto wallet, or all your needs in one. Thanks again for listening. Have a great day, and we will see you next week.